Get Ripple, the bright new drink with that ring-a-ding flavor. Ripple.
Book Club, Chapter 4.
Oh, you sound all professional.
I know. It's the teacher in me.
Oh.
Okay. So, long chapter.
Okay. It
Long.
didn't feel long to me.
It was like 43 minutes.
Was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts things in perspective because I listened to it on my drive home from work. That's a long drive.
Oh, when you start and finished it?
Yeah.
Oh. Where were you coming
I
home
was
from?
in Goleta.
Okay.
So that's
Pretty drive.
Yeah. Long.
Yeah.
Fascinating, isn't it?
What did you think?
I liked it. I feel like it was a little bit more uplifting than it was last time because last time I don't even remember exactly what topics we discussed.
You are not special.
Yes, that was it. And it was super depressing. But yeah, this was a little bit better because it was kind of like changing your perspective and reevaluating your values so that you don't feel like shit all the time.
I loved his story at the beginning about Hiro.
Yeah.
Hiro
The
Onoda.
lieutenant. Yeah.
If you were given orders to, what do you say, never surrender, and you're there for 30 years in a jungle.
Was he there for 30 years?
30 years. When he was
Wow.
getting,
Well, first,
those little, am I jumping ahead?
yeah. So, I mean, maybe,
Go ahead.
maybe
Backstory.
not. If you aren't following along with us, this was a story about a Japanese lieutenant who, during World War II, was in the Philippines, and he was out in the jungle, basically, fighting the Americans and the locals, right?
Yeah, he has like a guerrilla warfare.
Right. And over time, his squad or whatever, his comrades slowly either were captured or killed or left, and he eventually was there by himself. And the war ended. And there was flyers being sent out saying that the war ended and for him to basically surrender and go home. And he didn't.
Well, and they even had like letters from his family.
Oh, I
And
missed that part.
yeah, like personal, like letters, like the war is over, come home. And a letter from, and this is going to sound super ignorant on me, but whatever they call like the president.
the empire.
Thank you. Emperor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, emperor. Yeah. A letter from them saying like, hey, come home. You're good.
Yeah. Crazy.
Until that little hippie comes along.
Right.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I liked it.
What did you get out of it? What about the other stories?
I thought The Onion was a good.
That was the second part. So the second part was, I wrote it down, the
course you did.
self-awareness onion.
Yes.
And that discussed kind of peeling back why you feel the way you do about things.
Which I'm known for sticking my head in the sand and not facing reality and not dealing with anything that's going to give me stress or unpleasantness.
So are you going to start peeling those layers?
No.
But why? That's the thing. That's what he kept asking is why. Why do you feel
Because
that way?
it gives you those feelings of uncomfortable.
But why do you get uncomfortable?
Because I don't like admitting when I'm wrong.
Oh, interesting. Because that was one of the values that he mentioned.
Admitting when you're wrong?
Did you listen to this?
I did. I totally did.
Towards the end, and he was talking, like he was defining good and bad values to have. And one of the ones that he said is obviously not a great value is to not want to admit when you're wrong.
Know what you feel. I just looked it up. Know why you feel and personal values.
Yeah. So if you define your personal values, then you can support your beliefs and you can kind of brush away the parts that aren't really a metric of your standards. Did that make any sense, or is that just a string of words I just threw together in a salad?
It sounded really good. You sounded really smart. What did you take away? What was your like one like ba-boom message?
Oh, what I just said.
Oh, that was it. So the onion for you too. Well, I mean that was the whole section.
Defining the values is kind of like the last one, because then he does the rock stars.
Do you know your values? Do you have a definition of what is important? What your deepest?
I think so.
holds true to
I
you?
mean, I was trying to think about it while I was listening to the chapter, and some of the things that I value are like what came to mind was craftsmanship and creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean being able to take care of yourself and having the skills to be self-sustaining and not constantly depend on other people around you, and also be able to help others with your skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably sounds super vague.
No.
But I think that's one of the reasons why I got into agriculture and why I value agriculture, is because you're providing for yourself and others.
Right. 100. Yeah, I totally get that.
So that's one of my big ones. And then if you want to get down to more kind of like values that you see in other people, things like honesty, work ethic, I don't know. There's a lot of them. You're just staring at me.
I'm nodding.
blankly.
I'm nodding. I know you can't like hear my nodding, but yeah. I mean,
What are yours?
It I mean, obviously the book as a whole is going to reach each person differently, and what each person is going to take away is going to be something either probably totally different from the person sitting across from him. But no, I am listening to it. And I've said this, I think, the last 2 recordings we did on the book, and I feel like he's pointing his finger at me the whole time.
Well, that's good. Then you're getting something out of it.
If I apply it, which I need to. I get it. Blah, 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 blah.
So why do you feel like the finger is pointed at you?
Well, because I've always known I have issues.
With?
Like, my, like, honesty and, I put up a front. I've always put up a front to make everybody else comfortable and happy.
Why do you think you do that?
Because it's sometimes easier.
Then
I feel like I should be on a couch.
do we need to get a Freud catch in here? That'd be kind of great.
And then I could have like a soothing music going on with a candle, lavender scented. Is that relaxing? Lavender?
You might just fall asleep then.
Yeah, it's not my favorite scent.
But why? How does lavender make you feel?
Where does that come from? It's funny. We're gonna get into our phobias and pleasures, or for our story this week, and part of mine goes back to like, well, where does this stem from? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
It all comes from your childhood. So, anyways, if you're reading along with us, did you want to say anything else about this chapter?
Well, going back to the whole don't give a fuck sort of thing, I think like the whole idea is that once you figure out those values and define those values and what's truly important to you, you don't have to put up a front. You know what I mean? So like, okay, I believe this, and all of my actions and words are being supported by those values. So if you don't like them, well, I don't care. These are my values, not yours.
Yeah, I think that's a lot easier said than done, though.
Absolutely. But I think that's the first step of being able to do that.
Is defining your values.
Right.
Yeah.
You go to the church.
I do.
Every week. A place that I haven't been in a very long time. But that provides you with a outline of values. Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
So there's a start.
Yeah. Well, I know my values, but I feel like they're not well defined. Like I would like to give them a better, they're very vague.
But maybe open-mindedness is one of your core values. and being able to have that without putting judgment on yourself or others.
I feel that's one of my strongest points is
There you
not
go.
judging others.
But then why do you feel the need
I
to
fully
judge yourself?
accept. I don't know. I'm
I feel
harder.
like I'm shrinking your
Well, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally giving into it because I feel like I accept like other people way more than I accept myself. 100% more.
Yeah.
As long as you're like a good, kind person, I'm gonna think you're cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you feel that way about yourself, then you should be more accepting of yourself as well.
I should be, but I'm not.
Well, Rosa, this book is supposed to solve all of our problems. Get with the program.
Just listen to it day and night. I am liking it though.
Yeah, I really like it.
I am. I feel like it's a very good read, or listen.
Yeah.
Um,
And I like doing this week by week because
it forces you to do it and rehash what you heard.
right, because I think sometimes, especially with audiobooks, you can kind of zone.
Oh, totally.
And you're like, oh, that was a really good point. And then the next day, you're like, wait, what was that point again? Because I already went through 6 chapters.
Right.
And didn't really stop to like really digest it.
I feel like it's, like a book review, like a mini summary, if that. Cool.
Cool.
Chapter 5 next
Chapter
week.
5 next week.
Cool. All right. Next week. See ya.